Lying doesn't come easily to me. It's too much effort.
I can lie, but I'm terrible at even planning surprises. Like, one day I decided to just go to Siddharth's office and surprise him, and midway
You've called him and
I
told
called him and said, "What are you doing? I'm coming to office, huh?" He said, "Okay," and then I said, "Oh shit, I wanted to surprise you." As an actor, how she imbues feeling into anything, that's something that amazed me before I worked with her, and it still amazes me. I couldn't figure that out, and maybe that's the magic in it.
What I admire about Vidya so much is...
Hello everyone, welcome to ETimes, and today we've got two lovely ladies in two lovely saris, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great conversation ahead. We're talking about Jalsa, and welcome Shefali, welcome Vidya, welcome to ETimes.
Thank you, Rajat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so first question, I'm going to throw a bit of a googly, not a googly, but I'm going to employ a sporting metaphor over here.
Okay.
So when I first watched Jalsa, I thought it's the equivalent of, say, watching a Wimbledon final with Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal.
Oh
my God!
Yes, so...
So you've seen the film?
No, when I saw the trailer. So I'm talking about your matching up the two of you as actors.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys agree to this, and how do you react to it?
It's a very tall order.
Yeah, exactly. I love Federer.
I mean, it's a very tall order. But thank you for, I mean, it's something I can't even imagine as a comparison.
Yeah, what a compliment.
What a compliment.
You.
But it's been, I mean, as actors, I think it's a treat to work with somebody who's so good. And, you know, even though Ruxana and Maya don't complement each other, I think Vidya and me do complement each other. So it's, and it was like, you know, you have a wish list of people you want to work with. And of course, she was on my wish list, and it's happened, and it's great. And I'm so excited that you're having this kind of a perception and excitement towards it.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a fanboy for both of you also.
Thank you. And I'm a huge tennis fan, and especially a Federer fan. I also love Nadal, but so I'm not going to be able to get over this compliment forever. But having said that, yes, you know, I have to say, I think I've said it enough, maybe not yet enough, but I've loved and admired Shefali's work for as long as I can remember, you know, and therefore just the prospect of getting to work with her was a very exciting one. And we don't have too many scenes together, but the scenes we have are very powerful and impactful. And I think it was just, you know, like I kept wondering, I've wondered about Sridevi, I've wondered about Shefali, about how, you know, what would their process be. But I couldn't figure that out on set because I was only watching her perform. You know, so maybe I'll AD on a film that she does.
That's a nice prospect. Going to the themes of Jalsa, when I was watching it, obviously there is an accident that happens as a plot point. And then it sort of leads into, you know, a lot of discovery, a lot of emotional conflicts. And particularly from the two of you all, the characters that you play especially, it's almost like, you know, every character is sort of trying to hide something. So taking that to your real lives, have you ever had this situation where you can't speak the truth for whatever reasons, and then that's really sort of, you know, it's got at you, it's sort of caused emotional turmoil? Starting with you, Shefali, have you ever been in that sort of a situation?
So I mean, at least I'd like to believe that lying doesn't come easily to me. It's too much effort. I really feel it's too much effort trying to maintain it and then maintain a facade and all of that. Doesn't mean I must have never hidden something. And I'm sure I can't pinpoint an incident, but I'm sure I must have gone through that dilemma of how do I hold this within, you know? So, but I can't really pinpoint an incident as such.
Right. Okay, Vidya?
I can't keep anything within me, you know. I can lie, but with my closest people, I'm terrible at even planning surprises. Like, one day I decided to just go to Siddharth's office and surprise him, and midway
You've called him and
I
told
called him and said, "What are you doing? I'm coming to office, huh?" He said, "Okay," and then I said, "Oh shit, I wanted to surprise you." So I think I won't be able to keep it within me. But yes, I've lied to other people and all. I won't lie about that. I've lied to people who don't really matter to me. Like sometimes you don't want to go somewhere, you lie. You
Yeah,
those
but
kind
are
of
those
lies.
even those are
Yeah.
excuses.
Yeah, those are excuses.
They're not lies.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
the way I see lies is like it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
you know, a deceit, or maybe I'm looking.
Yeah, I mean, there
too
are
much
various shades of
Yeah.
even deceit, even lying.
Yeah,
This-
yeah.
Something can be a fib, something
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
malicious.
yeah.
So, yeah.
But even I can't. I can keep like surprises. I can keep.
I can't.
I can keep surprises, but the the closest, my closest friends, they'll know everything.
Yeah,
about
it's like my niece, no? She'll tell you, "Oh, I have a surprise, can I tell you?"
Yeah.
And I'm exactly like her. She's 10 years old, I'm 43, but there's no difference.
So is that the secret for pure sort of energy, that there's a child within you which is still sort of, you know, it's naive, it's energetic?
Well, that's a compliment, thank you. I don't know. I haven't thought about that, but
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a child within her. I
Okay.
choose to answer that.
On her behalf. Okay. All right. Shefali, what is that one quality of Vidya which you, before you did not work with her, which you didn't expect her to have, and you sort of figured out, oh wow, you know, she is like this while you were making this film? Did that happen? Or is there something that you admire about her?
I admire every bit of her.
Okay.
I admire her as an actor. I admire her as a woman. I admire her as a human being. There is so much warmth and genuinity, and she exudes it. And I don't see a single falsetto in her, not one. And which for me is a very, very important quality. And what I admire about Vidya so much is not only the fact that she's grounded, but she's very confident in her space. She's very comfortable and confident about who she is, without any ego or arrogance to it. And I really wish I could do that, because I'm burdened with self-doubt all the time. You know, and I'm sure even Vidya must have at some point of time. But I just admire her so much for that.
Yeah, her
And she's
persona.
trying to change me every day, bit by bit.
But thank you.
Okay. Vidya, any such revelations about Shefali?
You know, firstly, I have to tell you that I'd met her socially a couple of times, but when we met for the first time in the Abundant Share office, she came and gave me the longest, warmest hug. And she was like a child. You know, even when I would see her on set with her team, she would be constantly doing masti with them, you know. And I was like, it happens to me also, even though I'm an actor, that you mistake the actor for the role. You mistake the role for the actor.
Yeah.
And
Or the person for the act.
yeah, right.
The person for the character, basically. Yeah.
So I was amazed to see she's so much like fun. She's so easy. She's like a child. I was amazed, you know. As an actor, I think God bless her, and I'm sure she'll always have that magic. But how she imbues feeling into anything, that's something that amazed me before I worked with her, and it still amazes me. I couldn't figure that out, and maybe that's the magic in it.
Right. And see, there's another common theme. You both feel there's a child within the other.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Right.
We've also been behaving childish over the past 4 days.
Yeah. And I'm loving every bit of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. You know, but it happens in creative spheres, right? I mean, especially with actors, when two actors of a certain caliber come together, you help the other one sort of, you know.
Because acting is about reacting.
Yeah. So, I mean, in such a creative scenario, I mean, how do you guys feed off each other? I mean, on the sets, how did you sort of interact with whatever little interactions you guys must have had?
So that's very difficult to articulate in words, you know. It's just it's a give and take, which is very, which was happening between us, thankfully. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen, right? But I think that's the thing when you work with someone like Shefali, then you know that she'd be giving to the scene, giving to the actors as much in every scene with every actor.
Right.
So I think, yeah, so I don't know how we fed off each other, but I know we did.
We did, yeah.
Right. You agree to that assessment, Shefali?
I completely agree to it. And also, you know, honestly, in the last 4 days that we've been promoting, like if I had to put it in a statement, I think we have great chemistry. Like, really. And touch wood.
Touch wood.
And it's like a mutual admiration society. Unfortunately, we had very few scenes. Secondly, Maya and Rukhsana do not complement each other. And neither are they compatible. I wouldn't say they're not compatible. I don't think that question rises because they're the opposite sides of a coin. So what we would have otherwise done on a project where two actors really come together and create, that didn't happen because that divide is very necessary. The uncomfortable space between Maya and Rukhsana was something we respected and understood, you know. But the fact is that, I mean, obviously I would feed off her. It makes me richer.
Right.
So when you're working with such an incredible actor, and it's not an actor's job is not in isolation. I'm as good as what's happening around me.
Right. So when you sort of make anything, whether it's a film, whether it's an article that we may write, or say a painting, any art form, you feed a little bit of yourself into what work you do. So when you were handling Rukhsana or when you were handling your character Vidya, did you sort of feed certain things that sort of made that character sort of stand out? Did you sort of have any revelations? Did you discover anything about yourself while playing this character?
You know, it's very difficult to say where the character begins and where it ends and where Vidya comes into play. It's all in me, right? So I find points of identification with every character, and yet there are things that I don't really relate to. But somehow I infuse, that's when I guess my own experiences as a person or my own understanding and all of that seeps in to the character. But I think it's a very fluid space where you really can't, it's like you don't know where an actor's job ends and a director's job begins. Or when a director's job ends and the DOP's job begins. So it's all, you know, everyone is interdependent externally on a set, but also within the actor.
True, true. Shefali, you know, I have a question for you. I mean, when I was watching Delhi Crime also a year ago, I thought, you know, it had that, I mean, it was a thriller, and yet it had that sort of sublime human drama. I thought this project is also very similar. Would you agree?
True.
And is that space the space that you really identify with in a creative sort of
I
aspect?
identify with any kind of human drama. It intrigues me. The complexity of a human mind intrigues me tremendously. Right. And sometimes the simplicity of it endears to me. So it's, but you're right, because this is not just a thriller. It is a human drama thriller, you know. Yes, it'll keep you on the edge of your seats, and it's like you'll keep guessing what's going to happen and what is going on, and etc., etc. But it's also about the relationships, interpersonal relationships. It's about how one incident changes everyone's lives, affects so many people's lives. And it's about interpersonal relationships as well as how your own relationship with yourself changes. You know, it's conflict between characters, and it's your own individual conflict. So it's all of it put together.
Right, right. And since you guys seem to be on the same page, I have to ask you this. You both started off your careers on a similar note as well. You both started off with TV and iconic shows at that. You had your transitions into film. Now you guys are on OTT. Has that commonality been a bonding factor between the two of you? Have you guys spoken about this common themes? Is that why you guys are on the same page and have such great chemistry?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, just once.
Yeah, we spoke about television and because we were working in television around the same time. I didn't do that much work on television. Unfortunately, I was studying and doing, but you know, I still knew a lot of people and I did some stuff that didn't get released. So we were talking about all that and the shows she's done. Rohini ji was also on set. So we were all exchanging notes in that sense and remembering.
Yeah, reminiscing about
those days. But I don't think that was the reason. I think it's just there's been a sort of mutual admiration society for.
True.
Yeah. So I don't think it's about the television, right? Background.
Right. So one final question. Vidya, I mean, I've obviously declared that I'm a big fan, but nevertheless, so, you know, I really think that in the sort of the middle peak of your career, while you were being heralded as the hero of your films, and you know you broke those 100 crore barriers, etc. You sort of set a precedent, you know, with that, you know, we can really tell stories with female lead characters, etc. Now you've made a semi sort of soft transition, you know, come on to OTT. There's been Shakuntala, there's been Sherni, now with Jalsa. So these trends, these transitions, do you do them deliberately? Do they happen to you? What's your thought process? What's your creative process in doing these trends?
No, nothing.
Okay.
It was, you know, it was not a decision we took to release Shakuntala on OTT because of any strategy. The pandemic had, erupted, and our film was ready. And this was a great way to release it and not, you know, just have it lying there. Also, in a medium-sized film like ours, we couldn't afford the interest cost, honestly. So we released it on Amazon Prime, and I was amazed by the reactions because it brought us so much love. It's still one of the most viewed films on Amazon. And I was like, wow. So again, Sherni was supposed to be a theatrical, but the second wave happened. So again, Sherni went to OTT. But with Jalsa, it has been a conscious decision to release it on OTT.
Right.
And I'm very happy about that because now I've tasted the magic of OTT. Yeah. I think Jalsa has a universal theme, and the telling is also, the treatment is it's universal. So, you know, people all over the world will be able to relate to it. So I think while there are all kinds of films and shows on OTT, I definitely think Jalsa is one of those that will just break barriers and touch people the world over.
Right. And on the subject of magic of OTT, Shefali, Delhi crime, your career right now is really booming on OTT. So you agree with Vidya that it's, I mean, OTT is the great and happening space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a boon. It's opened horizons we couldn't think of. Of course, for me, I mean, DC became a game changer for me. But I feel for every creative person, you know, content is king. You can explore and experiment and express completely without being burdened by the requirements of a box office commercial film. And you know it's going to reach the world.
Right.
I mean, that's what we want, right? I think it's amazing. And even as a viewer, I can sit in my house and watch cinema and shows which are made across the globe.
Right.
Which is so enriching as a student of cinema.
True.
And even as an audience,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm watching stuff in all languages now.
Yeah. It's really opened up the horizons for an
and you know, you get exposed to different cultures, different ways of thinking, of course, different ways of storytelling, but just as an audience, someone who's, it's amazing, yeah.
True.
My mother tells me about things that I would have never imagined she'd watch.
Yeah, that's a theme, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people's parents, because they're
Yeah.
home, they've started recommending,
Yeah,
you know, you should be watching this show, etc. Yeah.
She told me the other day, you should watch, I forget the name of the Marathi film. She said, what a fantastic film it is. And I was like, wow.
Great. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time
Rachit.
and
Thank you,
best of
Rachit.
luck for Jalsa.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lovely to see you in person.
Same here.
And thank you for that wonderful
Full
compliment.
It wasn't a backhanded one.
That's very
Good one.